I wasn't really planning on competing in the June challenge this year, but when, in the afternoon, reports of lingering lesser yellowlegs at the dairy showed up on my phone, I couldn't resist. The thrill of the chase and my competitive spirit launched me full force into Alachua County's 22nd annual birding competition. The June challenge was founded by a local birder named Becky in 2004, who came up with the idea to help bridge the gap between spring and fall migration, where birding is more exciting. As the doldrums of summer birding were in full force, it would keep things interesting. The goal is to see as many species as possible in the month of June within the borders of Alachua County. Let me pause here. Here comes that lesser yellowlegs.
Just found the lesser yellowlegs.
The only other rules are as follows. Birds must be seen to count on your list. That includes all owls and nightjars. And if you see something rare, get the word out as soon as possible so other challengers can try to look for it. The June Challenge is a friendly competition.
All right, well, I'm leaving the dairy from a very successful trip. I got to see the lesser yellowlegs, which is a very rare bird in June, but that was by far the best bird I saw. I got to see a Cooper's hawk, which is another great June Challenge bird. If you don't just randomly stumble across one, unless you find that, oh my gosh, that was a common ground dove. Hold on. I saw one a second ago, but I didn't get to film it. Oh, did it fly off? No, I think it's still there. I got to show you this common ground dove. Hold on.
I definitely wasn't optimistic about my chances of winning this year, considering I'll be gone a week at mid-month and working full-time, but I just wanted in on the fun.
All right, well, that was a great look at a common ground dove. Next, I'm probably going to go over to Noonan's Lake, see if I can spot any terns or gulls or eagles flying over the lake, and then also look around for American redstarts or other kind of late spring warblers. Cooper's hawk, common ground dove, the lesser yellowlegs. I saw black-necked stilts, and then the dairy seems to host like a lot of kind of non-native species which aren't really common elsewhere in Gainesville, like pigeons, European starling, house sparrows. So yeah, that was cool. Definitely got all of the targets I was looking for and more. All right, just pulled up to the next spot. Gonna check out the edge of the lake here. Turn the camera around, you kind of see the lake through the trees. Gonna pull the camera and the scope out and see what we can find. All right, well, I'm just putting my scope together. I can hear some chickadees, a white-eyed vireo. So yeah, maybe there'll be some songbirds around here I can try to see before I scope the lake. All right, just got a northern parula up in this canopy. First warbler of the June challenge. Kind of got a decent look at the north end of this lake. Is that stable? I think it is. Since I was already being spontaneous, I decided it would be a fun idea to document my efforts while undertaking the June challenge. Ultimately, I spent much more time watching birds than filming them, which was a necessary expense for the sake of time management during the month. So for that reason, there ends up being a lot more of me talking and less footage of birds, but I hope you still enjoy. All right, well, that was a great little quick stop. Got blue-gray gnatcatcher, anhinga, great egret, a couple other common birds. And when it's June 1st and like everything is new to your month list, it's really exciting. It's fun to see those birds for the first time this month. And I didn't see any terns or gulls on the lake, so I'm heading to Palm Point, another park on the edge of the lake that's really good for birding. It gives you great visibility of the lake and has lots of big oaks and stuff for warblers and other songbirds. I would really like to try to find an American redstart this afternoon. The odds of that are pretty unlikely, but I'm in the right area to find them. So yeah, I'm gonna give it my best shot and I'll let you guys know what I find. This park is just so stunning. I just saw a couple downy woodpeckers, which are also a first. Wait, what is that? Hold on. Just heard something in the bushes. Looks like a giant Florida softshell turtle. This thing is huge. She's probably coming up to lay her eggs somewhere in this sand, so I'll leave her alone. I have birds just flying like all around me. There's northern parulas, gnatcatchers. Just had my first tufted titmouse of the challenge, first great crested flycatcher of the challenge. I have a feeling there's like a pretty good chance I can find something. Just had my first common grackle fly over. Some cardinals chipping, which are actually the first ones I've seen today. So the first ones of the June challenge. There's a lot of bird activity right now. I'm definitely excited to see what I can find. All right, well, I made it to the end of Palm Point Park. This is the actual point. And behind me, you can hear tons of red-winged blackbirds, common grackles, and boat-tailed grackles, it seems. Just kind of like all flying around, looking for food, chasing each other. No doubt they have nests back there, but it's pretty cool to hear the chorus of blackbirds behind me. It's mostly red-winged blackbirds singing that conqueree, like I said earlier, with other blackbirds mixed in. So cool. I think I'm gonna put the scope back on my tripod, maybe see if I can spot a tern or a seagull or something. All right, well, scoping the lake just paid off. I just saw a bald eagle being chased by an osprey. It disappeared into the tree line, so I didn't really have time to get any video, but that's a good bird for the June challenge. And yeah, I'll probably move to one more park on the edge of the lake, check it for any spotted sandpipers or red starts, anything like that. And then from there, maybe go to Payne's Prairie. All right, I'm at the next park along the edge of Noonan's Lake. I just saw a ruby-throated hummingbird fly over me, so that's a new one for the challenge. It's always good to keep an eye out here for short-tailed hawks. Alachua County is the very northern limit of their breeding range, and they like to breed around the park. Oh, there's two green herons. I don't know if you can see them above me. Probably not. That's new for the challenge. So 2 green herons, ruby-throated hummingbird, and I just walked out of the car. But yeah, short-tailed hawks. This is the northern limit of the breeding range. They really only like breed around Noonan's Lake and kind of this eastern side of the county. And sometimes if you just watch the skies for long enough around here, one will pop up. So I'm checking every vulture and making sure it's not a short-tailed hawk. Coming to this park specifically also paid off. I just got my first limpkin, great blue heron, snowy egret, and then I just scoped a laughing gull that was flying very distantly over the lake. They'll kind of come in a little bit in the summertime. Not too rare or anything, but still a good bird to get on my list. All right, to be completely honest, I wasn't sure if I was gonna do the June challenge this year. I competed a couple of years ago and I was pretty successful. I got second place and broke the record simultaneously with a couple other people. It was a really, really fun year, but it was in between me finishing school and starting work. So I didn't have anything to do. So I had the whole month just to focus on the challenge. Now I'm gonna be leaving for a week mid-month, which honestly isn't that bad. And then working full-time, so that's 3 full days a week I'll be gone at work. I don't think I'm gonna come in first. I'm not trying to come in first, but I still want to compete with what time I have. And honestly, I'm kind of having fun just driving around and looking for birds that I otherwise normally wouldn't, and that's kind of the whole point of the June challenge. So I'm heading to Alachua right now. It's a really, really good birding hotspot. I'm gonna keep looking for an American red start or any other late spring migrants, and then head out to that canal area at the Alachua Trail onto the prairie. There's a lot of exposed mud, and I know people have been there today because there's a field trip this morning, the kickoff field trip, which I couldn't attend, but maybe like other shorebirds, out way out on the prairie have kind of like moved in throughout the afternoon. I'm hopeful. There's a ton of cars here though, so I'm pulling in now. There's a lot of cars, and I'm pretty sure that there's a couple birders at least, and if there was anything crazy, somebody would have found it, but maybe not. And I'm gonna just try my best to find something cool. Love the sound of cicadas out here. Just such a sound of summer. An osprey eating a fish right up here on one of these trees by the sink. This is really cool. Here's a little video so you can see what it's like filming from my perspective. My tripod's broken, unfortunately, so I have to kind of hold it in place, but it's kind of cool. Actually feels pretty good out here, not gonna lie. The temperature's gone down a little bit. There's a nice breeze on the open prairie. So yeah, definitely enjoying myself out here. Young little mourning dove. Here here on the trail. It's kind of cool. They kind of have a scaly pattern when they're little. Anyways, I ran into another birder I know, and they said there was not much, no like signs of shorebirds or anything significant. So I'm gonna try to get to the dairy as fast as I can to go see that bobolink, but that's kind of part of the challenge. Sometimes you just have to go back and forth, and no matter how frustrating it may be, go after these birds. All right, I just got word that there's a bobolink at the dairy where he just was a couple of hours ago. So I am trying to speed back from Lachua. I ran into another birder I know who said she didn't see anything of much significance. Oh, there's a couple of black-bellied whistling ducks. Those are my first of the year. And a big gator in the middle of this little pond. It's kind of crazy looking, but I probably need to disregard it and just keep moving. Well, bobolink is a very good bird, and this is the only time of the challenge you could theoretically see one. They're a spring migrant through here, and they breed like in the grasslands in the central US, the Great Plains and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely not seen every June. Not seen most Junes actually, so this is a very important bird for me to try to see. I'm gonna kind of speed walk out of here. This is awesome. I was just speed walking back to go chase that bobolink at the dairy, and I just found a rough green snake. Definitely a species I've been wanting to see for quite some time. I've seen him before, it's just been a while. Just crossing the path here. He's definitely a little hard to hold, but this is a totally non-venomous little arboreal snake. Very cool. I'm gonna let you go. He's just gonna disappear. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty anxious about missing this bird. There's a lot of habitat it could be in, that it could fly to, and I mean, who knows? I got the initial message that it was there about 20 minutes ago, and I'm making pretty good time with the lights and hitting the lights just right, but it's still on the other side of the county, so it's about 30 minutes from where I just was. If I see it, I see it. If I don't, I don't, but if I don't try, I'll never see one. So I'm gonna just go for it and hope it's still around. I have no doubt there will be other birders there probably looking for this bird, which will help a lot. And then, yeah, man, bobolink is a good bird. My phone's dying. I don't really have a charger that works for it in my car, so who knows if I'll be able to even, record anything else or get updates. So I'll probably stop recording now and then start again once I get there, or if I see the bird. Mildly interesting watermelon. Somebody just relocated the bobolink. I'm kind of getting nervous because I'm about 5 minutes out, but I'm so thankful that it was just seen again. That means there's a pretty good chance at this point that I'll be able to see it. I'm about 5 minutes out from the dairy, so man, this stuff this gets you going, Definitely gives me a little bit of an adrenaline rush. I'm gonna stop recording, try to save more battery on my phone, but oh man, I hope I see this bird. All right, Hague Dairy round 2, another rare bird shows up. Let's do this.
Oh, the grosbeak. Yeah, the grosbeak is just sitting right there. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, because y'all were out of the country. Yeah. Like Sweetwater so many times. Yeah. Yay.
Got the bobolink. Oh my goodness, what a relief. Man, that is a crazy bird to see in June. I was talking to some other birders. There were like 4 or 5 other birders there. And I guess apparently it's only the 4th one that's ever been recorded in Alachua County in the month of June. And this county gets birded like crazy. So definitely a very rare bird. It was very cooperative for the first minute or 2, and then it flew off kind of southeast. So, I mean, it was literally a matter of minutes. I mean, we had maybe 3 minutes with the bird before it flew off. So that's why as soon as you see something like rare show up, you just have to go after it, because you never know how long these birds stick around. It's probably still around here somewhere, and there's definitely a good chance somebody could relocate it, but super thankful I got to see that. Got some cool pictures too. I'm gonna go home, grab a bite, and then probably head out to 441, the highway that cuts through Paynes Prairie, and there's this beautiful open pond at the south end that has some good birds. So can't believe it started doing this around 2 p.m. and seen some awesome birds since then. All right, just made it to the 441 Eco Passage over Paynes Prairie, and there's this beautiful pond up ahead loaded with birds. So supposedly there's a blue-winged teal in there, which is rare for the challenge. Definitely want to catch that. What was that? Oh, it's a barn swallow. That's new for the challenge. Hopefully I'll be able to get a picture of him later. Look at this congregation of birds behind me. There are hundreds of wood storks, egrets, there's spoonbills. This is awesome. This is actually unreal. Birds are catching fish left and right. It is sunset, the birds are just lit up. It is so pleasant. I'm gonna swap the camera and put the scope on and look for the blue-winged teal that's been hanging around here. New birds, I saw a roseate spoonbill, all of those wood storks, mottled ducks are new, some glossy ibis were in there. There's a black-crowned night heron, tricolored heron. It's wonderful. Woo, just got the blue-winged teal. But yeah, I walked a little farther north along the pond. That's where all of the wading birds were collected. They're a little more spread out, but there's a flock of maybe 20 or so mottled duck, and the blue-winged teal is right in the middle of them. Alright, it is the morning of June 2nd. I will actually be gone pretty much all day doing something, so I have about 30 minutes to go birding this morning. Somebody saw a bank swallow at Sweetwater Wetlands Park yesterday, so I'm gonna try to get there this morning, and I'll have about 30 minutes to chase it, so here we go. Alright, just got to the park. It is a beautiful morning. It's in the 60s, which is really cold for June. Got the purple martin colony up here. It's the first one I've seen this June, or first 2 dozen you could say. And then I did just see a northern rough-winged swallow, which is my first of the June as well. Those are more expected here though, since they breed here. The bank swallow is just a migrant, so I'm moving pretty fast. I do see a good flock of swallows up ahead here, so I'm hoping the bank's still in there. All right, well, the swallow flock ended up being pretty dispersed. Got some barn swallows and northern rough-wings, but no sign of the bank swallow. I'm gonna check one more time before I head out. I did get purple gallinule and, like I said, northern rough-winged swallow, and also purple martin. So 3 new birds from my list just this morning. All right, I am driving back from Central Florida. Spent the day helping a friend of mine move. And apparently there's an American goldfinch, which has been staying at somebody's feeders for a while now, since May. And it's extremely rare that they stay later than mid-May. Usually most of them are gone. So it was seen this morning by another challenger. It's at somebody's house. He said he's seen it as late as 5 p.m., the homeowner, and I'll probably be getting there around 7. So if I'm lucky, I might be able to track down the bird, and if not, I hope it sticks around and I'll be able to get it another day. It's a little unclear if it's staying here for the summer or just an extremely late migrant. Really interesting either way. Definitely not a bird you'd expect to see here in June. Alas, no luck with the goldfinch this evening. The yard was really beautiful where I was looking, and I can definitely see why it stuck around. They had plenty of water features, bird feeders, and tons of sunflowers everywhere. And goldfinches love to feed on like sunflower seeds. So it was pretty cool to see that yard, and hopefully I'll be able to see the goldfinch another day. I totally forgot to mention that I did see a new June challenge bird today. That was blue jays in the yard. So I hadn't actually seen one yesterday. So yeah, blue jay, new June challenge bird. Woo! All jokes aside, blue jays are absolutely stunning. I'm actually going to stop at 441 on the way back. A few challengers saw a ring-necked duck, which is pretty rare for the challenge. There's a couple spots you can somewhat consistently see them, but definitely a bird that requires a lot of effort to typically find in June. And apparently it was a hen, a female, that was right off the boardwalk, so that would be phenomenal if I could pick that up on the way home. Let's see if we'll find a ring-necked duck. It is so pretty out here. I'm in love with the prairie. Look at those clouds, I mean, just spectacular. All right, so the prairie ended up being super unproductive. It was just absolutely covered in grass. It was beautiful, but I was really looking for mud because that's where any shorebirds might be. And the prairie's like the most open habitat, so nothing there. I'm now walking around like some woodland trails on the edge of another prairie that I checked for shorebirds. There's a little bit of mud, but nothing of substance. So anyways, so I'm just gonna look around and see if I can find anything. Hey everybody, I'm back at Sweetwater. It's June 3rd, kind of middle of the afternoon. My first real trip to Sweetwater, you know, besides that quick one I had the other morning. And there's a thunderstorm, kind of a smallish storm, but it's in the south side of the prairie. Up here, it's supposed to be clear. It's a little bit iffy, but the radar shows that it should be kind of passing just on the south side. So I'm interested to see how that'll affect the birds. Maybe push some birds over to this side of the prairie to forage, like swallows or something, you know, maybe I could get redemption with that bank swallow. Just heard a yellow-billed cuckoo calling in here. That would definitely be a good bird to get. Oh, and there's a northern rough-winged swallow. Seen a couple of these guys around, been looking for any bank swallows, no luck so far. Let's see if I can get an eye on this cuckoo. That'd be a great June challenge bird. I just heard the cuckoo calling from in here, so I'll see if I can get eyes on it. When I first got into birding, I didn't realize that cuckoos like even existed in Florida. And there's one breeding species, the yellow-billed cuckoo. Well, two actually, mangrove cuckoo in South Florida. And then black-billed cuckoos will occasionally migrate through the state. But the yellow-billed cuckoo is absolutely gorgeous. All right, I was able to get a couple pictures of the cuckoo. It flew off out of the trail in front of me and landed on the island kind of back there. I keep seeing these swallows and I'm wondering if they're bank swallows, but they're all northern rough-winged. There's a king rail calling. That would be a great bird to see. But king rails are pretty secretive, so. There's two of them calling. It's like a very harsh call. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep my eyes out for swallows. Actually, a lot of bird activity, and the storm is cooling things down significantly. It's actually really pleasant out here right now, which you do not usually get in the middle of the afternoon. So one of the birds that us June challengers are forced to look for are the invasives and non-native species. And there's one here at the wetlands. It's called a gray-headed swamp hen. It's like the common purple gallinule, but twice the size, got this gray head, this gnarly red bill. They were introduced in South Florida. They've spread through Central Florida and all the way up to here. Fortunately, there aren't a ton of them. Sweetwater's really the only place you can reliably find them in the county. And even then, it can be pretty hit or miss. I'm going to the one spot. It's like this one little overlook into this channel. And sometimes you can see them kind of on the edge there. Okay, so no luck on the swamp hen, but I just saw this crow over here that's got this crazy wing coloration. It has white kind of in the base of the primaries, which are those big flight feathers in its wings. All right, so I've made it to the boardwalk here. This is a really fun spot to look for birds. You can kind of get just like right next to everything. I mean, you can see the vegetation is, right here, it's boardwalk. This is a great spot to find king rails, get eyes on least bitterns. I did see one fly earlier, and I wasn't able to get a picture. Maybe I can find one over here, but king rail is kind of my main target right now in here. I saw some here like a week or two ago. Still no sign of bank swallows, so there was one that was seen a couple days ago. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's a very late spring migrant. Oh my gosh, there's a king rail right there. There's literally a king rail right in front of me. That is phenomenal. Usually these guys are pretty secretive, but this one clearly doesn't care. Got some pretty barring on the sides. Very pretty bird. I just got eyes on a least bittern down here, hiding in the reeds. I think I got some pictures too. I think I'm gonna wrap it up at Sweetwater and head over to the Lachua Trail again. I didn't find anything at Lachua, and it's starting to rain. Nice little afternoon storm front moving through, so I'm heading to the car to stay dry. You never know, might go birding later. Probably will. Oh my gosh, I just went for the goldfinch a second time. It is pouring rain. I had zero expectations that I would see this bird, and within 5 minutes, it's on the bird feeder. And it's actually just sitting there to be out of the rain, which is absolutely hilarious. So I guess I came at the right time. I was so anxious that I was gonna miss this bird. I'm just so happy that I saw that bird. Like you guys, I really needed that bird to catch up. That was the really last like rare bird that I haven't seen yet so far in the county that kind of other June challengers have seen. I felt so much better now having seen that bird. My anxiety level just dropped. I'm sure it'll skyrocket again once I'm at work later this week and somebody sees a really rare bird, but you know, for now, I'm having a great time. So it's the morning of the 4th. I'm out at Sweetwater again, go figure. Couldn't decide this morning where I wanted to go. I knew I wanted to go somewhere since I'll have to work the next few days. And I decided on Sweetwater for a couple of reasons. First, It's close. If I need to leave, get somewhere quickly, I can get in my car, and I'm pretty centered around some good hot spots. Second, there's so many different birds that can show up here. Theoretically, there could be American redstart, could get a late spotted sandpiper, a late bank swallow, and all those just different options are just kind of appealing to me. I could also look for a gray-headed swamp hen, so there's a couple of reasons. Yeah, hopefully I'll find something cool. Box turtle on the side of the path. Alright, so I decided to leave Gainesville and head out to the western side of the county to the town of Newberry, which is kind of out in the country a little bit. And I'm going to hit a couple spots. I'm going to hit a cemetery where a couple of orchard orioles have been seen, which is a really good bird for the June challenge. And then I'm going to head over to Watermelon Pond after that, which is a WMA wildlife management area that has a host of uncommon species in the county, including breeding northern flickers, burrowing owls, Bachman sparrow, eastern kingbird, eastern meadowlarks, loggerhead shrikes. There's a lot of birds I could see there, so while there's nothing like extremely uncommon for me to chase right now, I think that's what I'm going to try to do. Oh, and white-winged dove. That's another bird I could get out here. Apparently the orchard orioles are on the south side here, and apparently they're building a nest, which is pretty cool. All right, well, that was a pretty quick stop. Just got the orchard oriole within 5 minutes. I saw the yellow female, and then I believe it's a young male that it's paired with. I could be wrong. And I saw that one too, but it was kind of backlit like I am right now. And I heard a brown-headed cowbird and red-headed woodpecker, so I need those both. I just picked up house finch. That's new for the challenge for me. I got back to my car only to discover this really cool bug. I don't know if that's like a velvet ant wasp or what, but it's pretty cool looking. All right, well, I was able to see a red-headed woodpecker, which is good since I'd only heard it. And you need to see birds, of course, on the June challenge for them to count. And now I'm heading to Watermelon Pond, hopefully find some other bird species. All right, I'm coming up to the only spot in Alachua County that you can find burrowing owls. Well, 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 what do we have here? Another soft-shell turtle. It's like the second one I've seen this June. It's pretty cool. All right, I was able to pick up burrowing owl, American kestrel, eastern meadowlark, and eastern kingbird so far. Other targets out here, I really need to get Bachman sparrow, northern bobwhite, and northern flicker would definitely be a good bird to pick up too. All right, it's been about 20 minutes or so since the last time I recorded. I did pick up brown-headed cowbird, which was nice, saw it perched up in a tree. The flickers are being really tough today. I checked out one area where I'd seen them before, didn't have them. I'm now in a second area where I've seen them. They like these big dead snags. I'm only seeing red-headed woodpeckers so far. If I don't get them within like an hour or so, I'll probably just call it. And of course, try another day. They're not joking when they call it the June challenge. It definitely is challenging. It's hot, obviously. You have to walk a lot of miles to see all these birds. It's really fun though, and it's rewarding when you do finally see them. Just gotta keep that in mind. Hear that trill? That's a pine warbler song coming from somewhere in the woods. There's a bobwhite calling somewhere too. Those would both be new pickups. Oh my gosh, I finally hear a flicker calling. Yes! I've been looking for hours. Oh my goodness. Well, I haven't seen it yet, so it doesn't count for the June challenge. Oh, I was so hot and tired, and now it just all feels worth it. So it's calling off in that direction, so that's where I'm going right now. Yes, finally. Just laid eyes on the flicker. So excited to have seen that bird now. That's definitely a tough one. They have a very, very limited breeding range. According to like historical records, northern flickers used to be one of the most common woodpeckers here, but since over the past, I don't know, 50 years or so, the range has unfortunately drastically declined. It hasn't even been a minute since I saw the northern flicker, and I already hear the last bird I need to see at Watermelon Pond. That's a Bachman sparrow, the only breeding sparrow species here in Alachua County, excluding the introduced house sparrow. Those don't really count. I hear them singing. They have a nice, clear, drawn-out whistle, followed by this beautiful trill. I'll see if I can get closer. Woo! Got the Bachman sparrow. All right, well, I am exhausted and hungry and hot, but I got all the June challenge birds I needed for Watermelon Pond. It feels good to see those birds. It's like such a relief to know that like you've seen them and you've put the work in. So let me avoid these blackberries here, but yeah, gonna head out and probably do some more birding later. I remembered while driving back, I hadn't seen a white-winged dove, so I just pulled into a random neighborhood street in Newberry on the way back and got one on the power lines. Now I have every single target I needed out here.
After spending some more time scoping Noonan's Lake, I went over to Payne's Prairie, where I was quickly rewarded with the June Challenge's first Caspian tern this year.
All right, well that was phenomenal. Saw the Caspian tern, got some good pictures. And I just saw an indigo bunting. I saw a female a couple days ago, but this was a bright, beautiful male. I got some cool pictures of him. Definitely one of the most exotic looking birds we have here. I only have a little bit of time before I'm gonna go to dinner, so I'm gonna go check out Lake Waburg, another smaller lake near the prairie, see if there's any terns or maybe a pelican or something on the lake, and then turn around and call it a day. I just got to Lake Waburg and the Caspian tern just showed up here. I mean, I'm only like a mile away from where the other bird was. And I'm assuming it's the same individual. It kind of flew in from that direction. It's really funny that I saw it there and then I came here and then it's like it's following me. Nothing else besides that Caspian tern. I was able to get the word out and hopefully some other June challengers will be able to add it to their list. At lunch break right now, Becca came and picked me up. There's a stilt sandpiper off of 441, which is a really rare shorebird here in the month of June, late spring migrant. So I'm hoping we can see it. Apparently it's still there as of a few minutes ago. Definitely would be a huge bird to pick up for the June challenge. I ran over here and I just saw the stilt sandpiper. Let's go. What a relief, man. Oh, that's so cool.
All right, it is the morning of June 8th. I'm out about an hour before sunrise, going to look for Chuckles widows and common nighthawks, hopefully.
All right, well the sun has rose and I was able to see Chuckles widow, which is really good. And I heard common nighthawks galore, but they're all too far away. And every time I moved close to them, I just couldn't spot one. So I'm gonna keep my eye out. Sometimes they'll be active a little bit later in the morning, but now I'm gonna go look for brown-headed nuthatches. I still need yellow-throated vireo. I think just as long as they get brown-headed nuthatch, that would be the main target. So I haven't heard any yet this morning. I've heard a lot of birds, Bachman sparrows, eastern towhees. Bachman sparrow singing. I'm gonna keep looking and I'll keep you updated. Just found brown-headed nuthatches. They're calling away up in this pine tree. They have that like kind of squeaky toy call. There's at least 3 or 4 of them, and unfortunately I forgot my camera this morning, but that's the new June challenge bird, so what I was looking for. One of the really cool things about this longleaf habitat is that there's wild blueberries, and there's plenty of them, and they're actually quite delicious. They're good. They're sweet, they're small, and they have kind of big seeds, but they actually taste pretty good. Got some really bad footage of a common yellowthroat, but that's the first one I've seen this June. I've heard them. They're a pretty common breeding warbler species, and they specialize in wetlands and then strangely these longleaf kind of flatwoods habitat. I had just given up on trying for a common nighthawk. I thought it was too late in the morning. I hadn't heard one for like 30 minutes, and out of the blue, 2 common nighthawks just flew by calling. I was able to see it, so it counts for the June challenge. Oh yes, that's so cool. It is a relief when you go birding somewhere and you see pretty much every single bird you wanted to see. I got Chuckles widow. Their eyes are super reflective, so I got here early in the morning when they were a bunch singing, and I was able to see one at a distance. Couldn't get a picture, it would have been really tough. And then got the common nighthawk just a few minutes ago, brown-headed nuthatch, common yellowthroat. So now I'm gonna head over to the spot where the stilt sandpiper was seen and the Caspian tern, that little pond on the south side of the prairie. And then I'm gonna shoot up to Sweetwater Wetlands Park to look for a gray-headed swamp hen. There was nothing at 441, so I'm out at Sweetwater now looking for that swamp hen. And there's an American coot that's been hanging out in cell 3. So I've not yet seen a coot this challenge. All right, just got the American coot. And I'm walking up on a resident sandhill crane family. You see the 2 adults and the older chick in the middle. They're pretty used to people walking by. Pretty cool. All right, it is the afternoon of June 8th. I decided to make kind of an impromptu hike out onto Payne's Prairie to look for a yellow-breasted chat. I really wanted to do it in the morning since they're really easier to see then. But I figured I'd give it a shot, and I did end up seeing one. It's kind of an area where I knew there was one hanging out, so I kind of hiked out there, and I got it to pop up, and it was really cool, and got good looks at it. So now I'm heading out to Sweetwater again in the afternoon to see if I can find a gray-headed swamp hen. Just got the gray-headed swamp hen. It flew up over the cattails, flushed by a male red-winged blackbird. Oh man, that was such a relief to see that bird. I was definitely not optimistic, but I got it, and so now I'm going to be going to see some owls a little bit later tonight, hopefully. There's a field trip at the Lachua Trail Hopefully I can pick up barred owl, barn owl, and eastern screech owl.
All right, it's later in the evening on June 8th. I am going to the owl field trip at the Lachua Trail, and the parking lot is full of cars of probably eager participants of the June Challenge to hopefully add American barn owl, barred owl, great horned owl, and eastern screech owls to our June Challenge lists. There was a good-sized crowd, as usual, for the owl field trip at Lachua, and we were treated with some juvenile great horned owls, which were the first ones I had seen this challenge, as well as this beautiful American barn owl flyover. Came out really early, usually you see them right as it's getting dark, but that was a beautiful thing to see. Such a cool bird. And here's a little gecko. We looked in vain for eastern screech owls, but there didn't seem to be any active or calling that night. Okay, finally heading home. Got 2 out of the 3 owl targets. Got great horned owl, barn owl. We heard a barred owl, which is arguably the most common of them all. And we did not hear or see any screech owls, so I'll have to come back here and hopefully find those last 2. It is the morning of June 9th. I am out making a hike at San Velasco Hammock Preserve State Park. This is kind of on the northern side of the county. It's got a lot of our local resident breeders, some species kind of on the southern limit of their breeding range. Easternwood pewee, hooded warbler, Acadian flycatcher, and if I can get red-eyed vireo and yellow-throated vireo as well, I'd be really happy with that. Hear that? That kind of furry song, short repeated phrases. That is a yellow-throated vireo, one of the birds I need for June. So I'm gonna try to get a look and hopefully a picture. So as you can see, I got the easternwood pewee, which was really cool. I've seen yellow-throated vireo. I did not get a picture, and I've heard red-eyed vireos. I'm still trying to see one. I saw hooded warbler, it was very brief, and then the last target, Acadian flycatcher, actually hear one calling out here. Hey buddy. So cool. After San Velasco, I headed out to the north end of the county along the Santa Fe River to look for broad-winged hawks. This is the only known territory for them in the county. All right, I'm out here looking for the broad-winged hawk, and it literally just flew over me. I have not been here 5 minutes. This is its breeding range. It's like the southernmost limit of where they breed in the United States, and it just flew right over me. I got a picture. All right, just in time. I had no idea it was gonna start thunderstorming here. It's coming in, starting to sprinkle. So I'm gonna head back home, but I got all of my targets this morning. The only bird I was looking for and heard but did not see was a red-eyed vireo, which is really common, so that's just a matter of time. But I got all the really good targets, so definitely a very successful morning. I'm at a retention pond. Here to pick up a couple birds that are accountable for the June Challenge, including the Muscovy duck, an introduced exotic, and then retention pond mallards are accountable for the June Challenge, which actually, believe it or not, are not that common here. So we actually have to go to only 1 or 2 spots that actually have them. So here's one right behind me, a white mallard. Sweet. It is Wednesday, June 11th, or is it June 10th? I think it's June 11th. And basically most of yesterday and this morning I got out and I was just scoping lakes, basically looking for any rare terns, anything unusual. The common suspects I still need are narrowed down to just a small handful of birds, which I can basically get at any time. That includes Eurasian collared dove, eastern screech owl, barred owl, and then there's a couple miscellaneous birds that have yet to turn up this June. But I was scoping the lake, I had a couple common terns, a least tern, which are still great birds, but not new birds for the challenge. I was really hoping for Forster's tern or sandwich tern or something like that. But somebody just reported a spotted sandpiper at Sweetwater. So that's one of those birds that they winter here, so they overwinter, but then they also migrate through and fall in spring. Like a lot of the other rare birds, very early in the month, they're like late spring migrants. The fact that it's like already June 10th is really, really cool, because that's a very, very late bird. I mean, I think the last one reported at Sweetwater was at the end of May. So usually that's like the very end of their migration in spring, and sometimes you can get them in the first week of June, and very occasionally in the last couple days of June. But spotted sandpiper on the 10th, that's pretty crazy. And people have been checking Sweetwater, like that place gets birded every single day by lots of people. So this bird must have literally just flew in overnight, and I'm really hoping it sticks around. I'm honestly probably 20 minutes from the park, and
and then another 5 minutes to the sandpiper spot. So, oh man, I'm really hoping it sticks around. That would be a fantastic bird for the June challenge. All right, I am here, I am running, and I really hope I see the sandpiper. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, it's still here. Wait, where did it go? Oh, it's flying. It's right over here. Yes. Well, that definitely just made my whole day. Spotted sandpipers, not only are they really, really rare this time of year, but they're really cool to see any time of year. They have that really cool like tail bobbing behavior. And then this time of year in breeding plumage, they actually have their namesake spots all over their breast and belly, which you might have been able to see in the footage. It wasn't the best, but during the winter time, they don't really have those spots, which is when we see them the most. So probably go check a couple other spots and man, maybe wrap up this morning early. All right, quick update. It is the evening of June 12th. Yesterday, I actually picked up Forster's Tern on Noonan's Lake, which was a new bird for the count, which was really cool. I didn't get any pictures. They were really far out, and my camera really wasn't working well yesterday, so that's why I didn't do any even distant photos. Anyways, somebody found a sandwich tern on Noonan's Lake. They knew at a distance it was at least a large tern species, which would be new to the challenge for anybody. And then somebody else, and then Tim found it perched on a pier, on somebody's dock, excuse me, at the end of the lake. So I'm 15 minutes away. I just ran from work to the parking garage, and I'm gonna try to see a sandwich tern. All right, this is what I'm moving into right now. Hitting a massive wall of rain, and hopefully it'll pass and the tern will still be around before it gets dark. I don't know, I have a small feeling that this might affect my chances of seeing this bird a tad. Just got the sandwich tern. It came back to the same pier that it landed on originally. Oh, what a relief. This thunderstorm is just moving in waves north. We're getting these sheets of rain, but it's all worth it because of that. Beautiful coastal sandwich tern. It's like, what are you doing? Oh no. Holy moly. What a bird. Sandwich terns are super coastal, and I've seen a couple of them in Alachua County after like major storms and hurricanes. But yeah, that is a phenomenal bird for the June challenge. Props to Preston for finding it and Tim for finding it on the dock. A lot of people got to see it. Now I'm headed home after a long day, but that definitely made my day right there. I love the summertime when you can get like this whole hour and a half of extra light after like 7 p.m. It is really nice. This road is very bumpy. I'm gonna go check one more lake where I found a couple common terns, like a small lake by my apartment, before heading home for the night.
Right as I was getting home, my friend Preston messaged me to tell me he had found a shorebird at the Caspian tern spot, so I immediately turned around since shorebirds are very rare, this June challenge specifically, since there wasn't much habitat. We ended up identifying it as a short-billed dowitcher based on its size, structure, long bill, supercilium, and responsiveness to calls. It was a really rare bird and really special find. All right, it is the morning of June 13th. I'm headed out to I'm currently walking out to the mud flats where that short-billed dowitcher was last night, just before work. I have about half an hour of light. Barely any light, but it is light. I'm gonna try to see if there's still a dowitcher around and if there's any other shorebirds that were probably blown in by that storm. So wish me luck. I did not find any shorebirds, but on June 14th, somebody found a greater yellowlegs at Watermelon Pond. It is June 14th. Somebody found a greater yellowlegs out here at Watermelon Pond this morning, which is a brand new bird for the June challenge this year. Usually you'll see them maybe in the first week, maybe the last week, as you get late spring migrants and early fall migrants. And occasionally some will stick around all summer and not migrate north. And just out in this little pond back here, foraging with some spoonbills, some herons, egrets, ibis, and I'll show you through the scope.
So I don't have my camera with me right now, but hopefully you'll be able to see this bird at least a little bit. So there's the pond. There's the yellow legs right in the middle. Kind of a medium-sized shorebird, brown above, white below. And has yellow legs, obviously, and it has a longer bill than a lesser yellow legs. It's quite a bit larger. That's a good bird for June. It is the morning of June 15th. And there's some baby turkeys out there. Look at that. That is so cool. Hey everyone, I'm gonna go scope the lake. There's a lot of vultures flying around. There's a storm rolling in. Hopefully it doesn't rain on me like immediately, but at the same time, storms can push in pelicans and other interesting rare birds, which I'm hoping happens now. The wind's actually starting to pick up. This could be good. The last major storm here kind of blew in a sandwich turn, which was awesome. Past day or so, I picked up Eurasian collar dove and Canada goose on my list. Man, it's getting windy. I actually really like this. Maybe we'll get a storm bird or something. This is nuts. Little update. I've taken retreat in the car after getting absolutely soaked. Getting a ton of rain. There's lightning all around me. Not ideal birding conditions, but hopefully after the storm passes, maybe it'll have dropped something cool off at the lake. That's what I'm hoping. So I keep looking up, just thinking there's gonna be a pelican or frigate bird or something flying by, even though it's not gonna happen. So I'm just waiting in my car, trying to dry off a little bit. And yeah, hopefully this rain will lighten up soon and I'll be able to get back out there. Hey everybody, it's June 23rd. I just got back from a week-long camp, so the only really crazy bird I missed was a brown pelican, so hopefully I can find one of those before the month ends. And then just catching up on some random birds. I saw a pied-billed grebe yesterday, which is pretty scarce breeder here. I am at Palm Point Park along Noonan's Lake to once again hopefully find brown pelican, maybe get a royal tern fly by, or something just unusual, maybe a willet. But one of the common birds I have not seen is a barred owl. I've heard many and somehow I've not seen one yet this month. So here's one perched up in this tree. Let me show you. Hey everyone, June challenge update. It's the evening of June 26th. Earlier today, a yellow-crowned night heron and a willet showed up at a couple retention ponds kind of in the middle of Gainesville. I got out there during my lunch break. I was too late for the willet, sadly, which is really a big miss. There's a chance I could get another one before the end of the month. They kind of move in. They'll occasionally show up at the end of June, kind of following their breeding season. They're very early migrants. And then the yellow-crowned night heron was just reported, still here, so getting out there after work. And it's juvenile, and it's definitely one of my big target birds for the month that I needed, so I'm excited to hopefully see that. And then another day of work tomorrow, and then last 2 days of the challenge, I will be birding like crazy. I'm a little sick, unfortunately, kind of just run my body down over the past couple weeks, over the past month really. Shouldn't stop me from getting out and at least getting a couple more birds on my June challenge list. All right, just got the yellow-crowned night heron exactly where they said it was, on this little culvert here. All right, crazy update. It's Friday, June 27th. I was supposed to work today, but I called out because I kind of have a cold and I wanted my body to rest. You know how I missed willet yesterday? Somebody reported one at Sweetwater on the north side of Cell 2, which is where I'm walking up to now. I see another birder, Tim, up ahead. It doesn't look like he's seen it yet, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye out and hopefully find this bird. Update, no willet where it was supposedly seen this morning. I'm gonna head down to the south end of 441, south end of the prairie where there's a little bit of mud flat. Maybe it's landed over there, so I'm gonna go check it out. All right, quick willet update. I was just about to get to Lachua and somebody said that somebody saw it fly in Sweetwater like just before I got there, deeper into Cell 2 where it was. So it's probably just hidden in the vegetation. So I turned around, I'm gonna head back there and kind of just wait it out, hopefully. Maybe it'll fly up if it's still around. Holy cow, somebody just said the willet flew from Cell 2 to Cell 1. So I walked over to Cell 1 and it's right on the path. Right there. Oh my gosh.
The ranger sent me a photo this morning.
It just flew to the railing. I can't believe this.
Oh my goodness. I'm literally just getting back from celebrating the Willet, and somebody reported a belted kingfisher at Sweetwater. What? Why do I even leave the park? I left the park and the Willet showed back up. I left the park again and a kingfisher shows up. But yeah, kingfisher is one of the really good like last week of the month targets. One of the early fall migrants you can get, and one of my big targets over the next few days. Wow. I mean, it literally wasn't there this morning. There were 5 or 6 birders there. It must have just flown in. Oh my goodness. If I see this bird, I'll be tied for first in the June challenge. I might as well just stay out there all day, honestly. Sweetwater is such a goated birding hotspot.
All right, I'm at the park. I'm about like a minute away from where the kingfisher was reported. So here's hoping it's still around. If I see this bird, I will be tied first for the challenge. So gotta get this kingfisher first. All right, I'm at the spot. No kingfisher to be found, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna keep an eye out. I'm gonna walk around the park a little bit and keep my ear out for its rattling call. Holy cow, I just heard the kingfisher call over by these cypress trees. Oh my gosh, I need to get around and get a better view. I'm actually kind of freaking out right now. All right, where's the kingfisher? Where's the kingfisher? Hold on. There it is. Yes! No way. Oh, what a relief. No way. Right there, belted kingfisher, baby. Woo! There he is. I can't believe I'm looking at this bird right now. That is amazing. That is a rare bird for the end of June. And that ties me for first in the 2025 June challenge. Wow. I'm kind of speechless right now that a willet and a belted kingfisher showed up both today. That is amazing. All right, it's a little later in the afternoon of the 27th. I am currently tied for first in the June challenge. I'm looking for black and white warblers. I'm at Palm Point, and somebody reported, I just happened to be looking through checklists earlier in the day, somebody reported a tern spa, so species unidentified. That could have been a royal tern on this lake. So royal tern is like one of the last remaining expected terns. There's actually a storm coming in. It feels perfectly fine over here, but you can hear the thunder. So hey, it could be good for terns. Hopefully I can avoid it. So yeah, black and white warbler, maybe. It's kind of early, need a couple more days. Then royal tern, brown pelican, still need those. Fish crows and vultures. Actually vulture feathers all over this park. They roost here on this little peninsula. They're everywhere. All right, I'm at the point. You can probably hear the wind. It's pretty rough, but oh my goodness. Do I see the most brilliant rainbow. That is amazing. The osprey there with the fish. It's gotta be a good sign, right? Check this out, there's a big brown water snake. Oh, there he goes. He did not want to stick around. That's awesome. So I haven't really seen much. The storm's kind of starting to pick up. I don't know how much longer I have out here. You can see it's kind of getting worse. You can see it's getting worse behind me clearly. So I probably need to head out soon. I'm gonna stay for just a couple more minutes in case it like pushes some turns in or something. But yeah, you can see the lightning's pretty gnarly. That thunder is definitely getting closer. Yeah, these winds are definitely pretty crazy. I just checked the radar. It looks like most of the storm is gonna pass kind of south of Gainesville, and what I'm seeing here is there's some more lightning. It's kind of like the northern edge of the storm. I'm probably gonna head back to the car maybe for like 20-30 minutes. I'm not seeing a ton of rain over the other side of the lake yet, but I have a feeling it's coming soon, and I've had it creep up on me very quickly before. I don't see any turns or anything like odd, so I'm probably just gonna call it and then maybe check afterwards. Well, it definitely started to rain. It came on quick. I had to run back, but once it passes, I'll try to get back out there and hopefully find something. Well, I just checked the radar. I think I changed my mind. I think it's gonna be best to head out. It's probably been raining here for a little while now, it looks like. All right, I'm currently heading out to Lake Santa Fe on the northeast corner of the county to go on another birding boat ride with several other birders in search of brown pelicans, belted kingfishers, which I already saw yesterday, and any other rarities on Lake Santa Fe. Yesterday evening, didn't really end up finding anything, so hopefully this morning I'll be able to get one more bird on the lake. My most likely next target is Louisiana water thrush, but I'm gonna be going kayaking on Sunday on the Santa Fe River with a friend of mine, so that's a good spot to get them at the end of June, and I'm hoping I'll get one then.
We had only been on the boat for about 10 minutes, and then something crazy happened.
Holy cow.
That was a royal turn. 2 of them appeared out of nowhere, flew right past the boat. Everybody got great looks. It was a brand new bird for the June challenge. On the afternoon of June 29th, me and my friend went onto the Santa Fe River to look for Louisiana water thrush. Unfortunately, my camera had broken, so I couldn't get any pictures.
Just got the water thrush. All right, it is the last day of the June challenge, June 30th, 2025. I'm out in the woods looking for black and white warblers, the last early fall migrant target of June. It's really only possible to get them during the last couple days of the month, so I'm out exploring some woods, looking for some feeding flocks, and hopefully find a black and white warbler. No luck earlier with black and white warblers, so I'm out at another hot spot, Bowling Bluff. It's a trail on the south side of the prairie, and hopefully I'll turn one up here. All right, well, it was really quiet, and I finally found a little mixed feeding flock after the breeding season. Songbirds kind of like form these little feeding flocks together, and that's kind of where you typically target warblers and other migrating species as they join these active flocks. So hearing a lot of tufted titmice, Carolina wren, there's a yellow-throated vireo, white-eyed vireo. No black and white warblers yet.
Ultimately, I ended the 2025 June challenge having seen 131 different bird species and tied for first place along with Tim Harden, an incredible local birder and friend of mine who has won the challenge many times before. Before I end this video, I just want to emphasize my gratitude to the incredible local birding community of Alachua County. The June challenge really is a community effort. So many birds I saw this June were only because of other birders sharing their finds, their resources, opening their backyards to visitors, and all those kind of things are really what make the June challenge a really special experience, on top of being able to just spend so much time in God's creation and out in nature. I went places I'd never been before, spent time with old friends, made new ones, all the touchy-feely stuff. Anyways, I had a blast, and I cannot wait for next year's June challenge.